presidential election is being challenged. An APC National Working Committee alongside the President-elect Bola Tinubu of today announced zoning and the names of preferred candidates for the presiding officers' positions in the 10th National Assembly. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimale in Abuja. It's good to be back on the program tonight. So much to talk about today. It's so interesting that only today, the developments in the court regarding the 2023 elections has become a very interesting one, and the tribunal has since opened. They're also asking for televised proceedings in at the tribunal. Also, the senior lawyer, Fem Falana, is asking that there is some kind of sabotage in the Nigerian economy, and is asking now, why do you spend dollar in the Nigerian economy when Naira is available? Why dollarize the Nigerian economy? He's asking, he's demanding Nigeria and perhaps the government to do something. We'll be hearing from him tonight on the program. Stay with me, everyone, on that. Plus, we speak also with one of the National Assembly lawmakers now that the APC had made its position known about the zoning of the National Assembly position. APC has now told us today that they will be zoning to the south-south and precisely named the names of Godswill Akpabio, Barau Jibrin for Senate President and Deputy Senate President, and they've named for the Speaker Tajuddin Abbas and Ben Kalu for the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. Not only that they zone, they also typify the names alongside the position. This is quite interesting. So we'll be getting perspectives on this one. Those who are saying that, well, they will challenge the APC on the floor for these positions. But beyond all of this, what is more important is the role of the lawmakers in the interest of Nigeria. So we'll be getting some perspectives on this issue. Stick around with me, everyone, because we need to serve you with your political roundup stories.
The Supreme Court has fixed May the 9th for judgment in the appeal filed by the former governor of Osun State, Gboyega Oyetola, against the election of Ademola Adeleke as the governor of the Southwest State. In his appeal, Mr. Oyetola is seeking the reversal of the March 25 judgment of the Court of Appeal in Abuja, which affirmed Adeleke's victory in the last governorship election in Osun State. The appeal court had in its judgment set aside an earlier judgment by the Osun governorship election petition tribunal, which held in favor of Oyetola and removed Ademola Adeleke. A 5-member panel of the Supreme Court announced a date after taking arguments from lawyers to parties. The National Assembly is holding an induction program for senators and House of Rep members-elect of the 10th National Assembly. The induction ceremony is intended to educate lawmakers-elect on legislative business. According to the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, this is extremely important as more than 70% of federal lawmakers coming into the 10th Assembly are first-time lawmakers. The People's Democratic Party is raising the alarm over an alleged plot by the ruling All Progressives Congress to influence the outcome of the ongoing cases at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. In a news conference in Abuja, the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Mr. Debo Ologunagba, says the party has information about the plot to influence the outcome of the tribunal judgment and is alerting Nigerians and the international community to be on the alert.
The PDP calls on the APC and its leaders to immediately come clean and publicly address Nigerians and the world on these disturbing allegations and revelations which are already in the public domain.
As the River State Election Tribunal sitting in Abuja begins hearing of the different petitions filed by aggrieved candidates of the 2023 election, the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in River State, Mr. Tonye Cole, is asking the judiciary to uphold the tenets of the profession and dispense justice without fear nor favor. Tonye Cole, who was speaking with Channels Television in an exclusive interview, expressed confidence that he has a good case and the judiciary will not let Nigerians down as they are the last hope of the people.
Nigerians are hoping that seeing the successive failure up until now, that the judiciary will be able to stand up and prove to be different.
A group of non-serving senators are asking the national leadership of the All Progressives Congress to zone the position of the 10th Senate President to the south-south part of the country, in line with equity, justice and fairness. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the group, made up of 7 to 8 NASS former senators, led by Senator Bashir Lado, notes that the leadership of the National Assembly requires an experienced leader at this trying period of the nation's political history. The group also endorsed Senator Godswill Akpabio and Senator Barau Jibrin as Senate President and Deputy Senate President for 10th Senate of the National Assembly.
We also affirm our unfettered support for the position of the President of the 10th Senate to be conferred on His Excellency, Distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, CON.
A group of leaders and stakeholders from Owerri Federal Constituency under the umbrella of Nzuko Owerri General Assembly have endorsed the Imo Charter of Equity adopted by the Imo Leaders Council, which stipulates that power should rotate amongst the 3 geopolitical zones in Imo State, and also support the incumbent governor, Hope Uzodimma, to complete another 4-year tenure and hand over power to Owerri Zone afterwards. Reading out a communique of the position reached after a meeting in Owerri, the group threw its weight behind the second-term bid of Governor Hope Uzodimma, having done so much for the people of Owerri Federal Constituency through infrastructural development, programs and policies of the Uzodimma-led administration.
We must give honor to whom it is due. Governor Hope Uzodimma's administration has greatly impacted the Owerri Federal Constituency, geared towards returning its past glory.
Thank you indeed, everyone, for staying with us on the program. So let's tell you the breaking news that you find right here on your screen is about the National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress, APC, which says today that it has zoned the leadership of the 10th National Assembly. Well, from the statement released by the National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Mr. Felix Moka, says that the zoning arrangement reported to the NWC is now stated as follows. Take a look at what it looks like. The Senate presidency has been zoned, and there's a typecast for it. South-South, Senator Godswill Akpabio from Akwa Ibom State. For the Deputy Senate presidency, in the Northwest, Senator Barau Jibrin from Kano, and others in the position, other presiding officers in the Green Chambers. For the speakership, in Northwest, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, Northwest, from the Northwest here, from Kaduna State, and the Deputy Speaker from Southeast Abia State, Honorable Ben Kalu, who is the present spokesperson of the House of Representatives. The announcement of the zoning arrangement, according to Mr. Moka, is in consultations with the meetings or with the President-elect Bola Tinubu and some leaders and stakeholders of the party. Let me allow you to listen to Mr. Moka just after the National Working Committee of the APC finished their meeting earlier today in Abuja.
The National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress, APC, met today, Monday, May 8th, 2023, to consider reports of consultations and meetings held with the President-elect, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, other party leaders and stakeholders on zoning arrangement for the 10th National Assembly leadership positions. The NWC noted with respect the outcome of the meetings held between the President-elect and the leadership of the NWC. The NWC called for further and better consultation with necessary stakeholders in order to assure the support of the aspirants to the National Assembly leadership positions and members of the party nationwide. The zoning arrangement reported to the NWC is as follows. Senate, 1. Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, Kaduna. For Deputy Speaker, Southeast, Honorable Ben Kalu, Abia. We urge our party leaders, members, and all Nigerians to continue to work for the peace and progress of our country during and beyond the current period of leadership transition.
All right, then, you heard from the spokesperson of the APC. Let me allow you to look at what the zoning looked like again. But the party says that the consultation that they had with the president-elect and other stakeholders of the party led them to arriving at this zoning arrangement for the 10th National Assembly. So the APC says that they want Goswe Akpabio from the South-South, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas for the Speaker, for the Deputy Senate President, Barau Jibrin from Kano Northwest, and for the Deputy Speaker, Ben Kalu from Abia State in the Southeast. This is how the APC has zoned the arrangement, but of course, the likes of Oji Uzo Kalu had come out to say today that he's reminding everyone that he has intention to run. And part of the statement, Senator Oji Uzo Kalu was one of those who want that seat, but the APC had zoned now to South-South. Oji Kalu said, I must humbly write to officially inform you of my interest to be elected the next Senate President and make this offer to serve you and Nigerian people with sincerity of heart, humility, and candor. The biggest asset I bring to the table is wisdom and experience garnered over the years in the management of human and material resources. But now, there seems to be a threat coming from the opposition political parties who, they call themselves the greater majority. They say that the 7 political parties which make up the minority bloc of the 10th Assembly of the House of Reps have announced to the Nigerian people by your different media organs that it would ultimately seek to field candidates for the offices of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker from among the ranks. They went further to say that this position has largely been foisted on the emergent 10th National Assembly by the discordant tunes coming from the stable of the ruling party, APC. They went ahead to say they will go ahead to field candidates to contest with the APC for the presiding officer's role. There are those who are in the National Assembly who are agitating and advocating for a Southeastern, a Senate presidency of Igbo extraction. One of them is a sitting senator, or probably a returning senator from Anambra State, one of the only senator from his political party and in the opposition, YPP, Senator Ofanyi Patrick Uba. He joins us live here in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Senator, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'd like to let everyone know that Leonard Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Femi Falana, will be live with him in a moment. As much as we're able to clear things technically, he's live with us in Ikeja, Lagos, and he'll be giving us perspective on very important and critical legal issues. But let's get these out of the way. Senator Ifeanyi, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.
Let me first and foremost, it's good to see you've not seen you in a while. You changed a bit too. Hope you're well.
Well, very well.
Thank you so much.
Strong and kicking.
Fantastic.
Maybe campaign and then a lot of things.
All right, great. How do you react to the APC's position tonight? They've made it known that they want Goswe Akpabio and they want Barau Jibrin, some of your colleagues, and they've said it's not only about zoning, but they've named names now.
Okay, we've received that information. We made a statement yesterday. We came out from a meeting of our caucus and we made a statement. And we have also continued consulting. We are in the opposition party. And I think by consultation, we may be able to find a position that will be a win-win situation for each and every one of us. But for me, and for our people from the Southeast, we are still very strong, contesting for the office of the Senate President of Nigeria, for the 10th Senate. That is our position till now. So maybe in the course of consultation, we will continue to update Nigerians of our position. But for today, for now, I'm still in this studio. The position of the Southeast Caucus is that we are going to contest for the 10th Senate President of
against the position of the ruling APC.
That is our position for now.
Who are those running in the Southeast?
We have Oji Uzo Kalu, we have Osita Izunaso, and then we have another gentleman, Senator Patrick, and then we are all trying to see how we can, come to present one candidate. And for now, we are still consulting. That is the position of the Southeast Caucus.
If you've heard some of the arguments and debates from members of the APC who said, look, you have to give it to those zones and part of the country that gave the APC their votes in the presidential election, perhaps the reason or the reason behind the zoning of the APC. What do you have to say to that?
Well, every vote matters. Without every part of Nigeria contributing to the voting content, we wouldn't have had the number of results we have. So we shouldn't. There's a lot of things in terms of trying to zone. After the presidential election, I think equity demands that we'll sit down and then look at every region, because we are talking about Nigeria. Nigeria is not divided on who brings the vote and who doesn't bring the vote. And even those who have been accused, or if the way you have presented it, those who didn't bring the vote, are we not part of Nigeria?
But this is politics.
No, it is politics. But politics demand also that you need to look at the problems and the marginalizations and things people have been saying. And
why do you think that a Southeasterner should be Senate President?
Because the Southeasterner needs it. We need it in order to balance the equation.
I thought it was a presidency that the Igbo people wanted.
Yeah, we wanted the president, we didn't get the president, and we want to have the Senate president.
On what guy? Is it just because...
You see, we are coming from a zone that has been badly marginalized, and that is what every Nigerian knows today. Part of what you saw that happened during the presidential election is part of this agitation that people decided to show, And I think if we call ourselves one nation, one people, then we should at least put the balance very well, equate it so that every region will have a sense of belonging.
Because we're talking about the politics amongst 109 senators, 360 House of Representatives. This is just a little number compared to the interest of a larger 200 million people who will be coming to the interest of the Nigerian people, because we're just talking about presiding officers' robot. The average Nigerian will be asking, what does it benefit him or her? But before I get into that, I mean, if you look at the history of the National Assembly in this Fourth Republic, look at the from 1999. There is no single state in the Southeast that has not produced a Senate president. And if you look at it, they will say, just a moment, the politics of the National Assembly, again, after having the likes of Kenny Namani, Pius Ayim, Tubo Kadibo, and the rest who have become Senate president, all the time that President Obasanjo was president, you had an Ike Ekweremadu who for 12 years, during the time of the former Senate President Saraki and his predecessor, he was the Deputy Senate President. So there are those who argue that the Igbo man has had his fair share in the leadership of the National Assembly. How do you react to that?
Well, people can say about things they don't understand. But if we go into the dynamics of their stay, the elongations, you will know that, yes, we have not really had. What was it? Did we have a very free tenure during these times we are talking about? The answer is no. Do you understand me? And we are talking about the present situation in this country, how we are going to balance the equation in this country and bring tranquility to the country. We are looking at the president coming from the southwest, and then the Senate deputy president coming from the northeast, and it demands that the Senate president should be given to the southeast, or should be zoned to the southeast, or fairly zoned it to the south. The only problem we are having is consultation. And even if there was a very robust consultation among the people from the south by the ruling party, we can now come. Maybe we'll come and then at the end of the day say, okay, we want to give it back to the South-South. But there was no consultation. It's like there's nothing you people can do.
Is that how you guys see it?
That's the way we find it.
That's how you have been treated?
Yes, there's nothing.
You are even being marginalized in the National Assembly. That's how you see it?
In the zoning by the ruling party, that is the way we are seeing it. And not that we don't have human... I mean, Oju Zokalo has a competency. Osta Izuna also has competency, and they have all served in the ruling party in the very strong positions in the past. As a former governor and then former organizing secretary of the ruling party, you know, they deserve to be given opportunity to be the Senate President of Nigeria. So they have also contributed their own quota towards building of the ruling party. Well, and for all of us in the opposition party, we are supporting the position of the Southeast.
The game is a game of the ruling party because they are in the majority. And the rule of the Senate says that you have to give it to them to be able to determine how it goes. But now that the APC had made its position known that they want Godswill Akpabio from the South-South, what is your next line of action?
The next line of action is for us to go back to the drawing board and then present it to our people because this happened today. We'll present it to our people and then we'll take a position.
What kind of position will be acceptable to the Southeast senators?
Nothing is cast on stone. Every dialogue is very important. Consultation is very important in politics. I mean, if we are going without anything, then we need to ask ourselves, are we part of Nigeria? So let us have good consultation from the ruling party. If they think that we don't deserve to be the president of the Senate, then they then come and tell us what is for us.
As for the 4 presiding officer roles, 1 has gone to the Southeast. Is that enough to placate the Southeastern lawmakers?
Well, I think about some few minutes or few hours ago, we have almost half of the contestants of the House of Reps, you know, coming together, you know, trying to form an alliance on who will be. I don't think some of these things will be fair to us, those of us that have contested the election. You know how it is to get into to be voted in. So one of the things that is very important is you don't just enforce these things to people that are so independent, and we have our political parties, we have our stakeholders, we have people from our region that have sent us to National Assembly. You don't just come and enforce. There should be a consultation. We are all matured politicians in this country. There should be a proper consultation. You know, I think the ruling party did not get it right in just...
you think it's going to backfire?
I don't know.
A similar Saraki, Tambuwal scenario could play out?
Sure, you won't get words from me, but I don't know.
If you are not happy, if you say you are not consulted...
The politics of the Senate is a different ballgame, honestly speaking. The politics of the Senate is a different ballgame. It needs proper consultation. And that is what I think the only...
Are you warning the APC about this?
Well, I have said it yesterday. I was in another television station. I said it. There should be a proper consultation. Now that they have made their position known to Nigerians, thank God we took our position before they made their statement. So we'll go back to the drawing board. And
Senator Fanyoba, let me allow you to listen to one of your colleagues who is coming into the National Assembly from the Southeast. This is Senator Dave Umahi, who literally was conceding to the position of the party and that of Bola Tinubu. Take a listen to Senator Dave Umahi.
My brother came on consultation with me, but yesterday I saw the president-elect on his invitation, and he told me that he's already committed, and he said, please don't run. And I accepted, and I stepped down for my brother, Senator Akpabio. He's my consensus candidate.
Yeah, okay. Now, good. Okay, beside you is one of the...
Yeah, that's it. So I also stepped down for him as the Deputy Senate President. So I stepped down to for 2 of them.
I've always said, Inshallah, the will of God will be done in Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Senator Ifeanyi, how do you react to that?
Well, technically, when you listen to my brother, His Excellency Dave Umahi, he said that the candidate came to him. He said also that the president-elect invited him. That's 2 things. He came to him for consultation, and the president invited him. Now, the question is this: have Godswill Akpabio come to the Southeast Caucus? I am aware he has seen the Southwest Caucus. Can you take it back to him and ask him if he had seen the Southeast Caucus.
If he consults with you without doubt,
has we been asked to come to maybe on the invitation of the ruling party or on the invitation of the president-elect, and then please help me to achieve this. This is what I have also for you people. I mean, we came to the National Assembly from different platforms, and we shouldn't be treated like nobody. That is it. We shouldn't be treated like nobody. And it's becoming a decimal for people to always, you know, abuse people of Southeast in this manner. That should stop.
What do you do about it?
Well, we can't say what we'll do, but we will see the end of the game, how it will be.
I mean,
the most important thing, there's nothing, nobody's having anything against the president-elect. He's a nice gentleman. He's a good man. But in this, we don't know the politics that played that, you know, gave room for this, because he shouldn't even be part of this in the first place. Even though, yes, he needs to have a good Senate that he will work with. But he shouldn't have come in so quick. And for my brother, His Excellency Dave Umahi, that just threw in, I mean, he gave a statement a day, and then after a day, he was consulted, and the people came to him, and the president called him, president-elect called him, and then he gave up. Okay, that's good in politics. Maybe they gave him the right words for him alone, but not for the people of Southeast.
Let me then ask you, I mean, some Nigerians, they are disenchanted by the manner, the conduct of the National Assembly generally, in what they think they get from the National Assembly in terms of representation, in terms of the benefits of governance to them. There are those who have even given a thumbs down for you people in the National Assembly, thinking that you have not done well by Nigerians, and in the interest of Nigerians is little or no concern to you people. The legislative agenda, the interest of Nigerians, do you people even consider it as ultimate and primary?
So, many people in the National Assembly have, you know, the way they work, the pattern they decide to choose to work for, the benefit and the interest of this country. So, if you ask me one simple question, and I will ask you, go to National Assembly, go and ask today Nigeria economy, what I singly brought into the table. I raised the motion that gave birth to the Deep Offshore Act, that is giving Nigerian government today 800 billion naira annually, and something that was petitioned over 20 years ago. And I brought the motion, the records are there. And then I championed the bill between me and the Basi Akpan. And today, Nigeria is benefiting over 800 billion naira annually.
The optics out there is that the National Assembly members don't have the interest of Nigeria.
Excuse me, because if you say we are not contributing, and I'll tell you what I have contributed.
You need to be able to tell Nigerians.
And I will tell you that what I have done singly,
Assembly.
my first year, nobody has done it in the last 20 years. But I'm not blowing horns. If it was, what do you call it, whistleblower. Do you know what's supposed to come to my constituency?
Let me give you an example.
That sent me to Abuja, and today I have given Nigeria 800 billion naira.
Senator, let me give you two examples. Just for a moment. Let me give you, these are the optics. Some Nigerians don't believe that their interests are being covered.
Senators are not meant to be talking, to be talking like people in the street, on the market.
But you are supposed to.
But I've just given you one, and then you can go back.
Senator,
it was not there, it was not there.
Let me ask you.
I came to the Senate, I brought the motion that gave birth to the bill. And today, Nigerian government is gaining over 800 billion naira annually from that bill. And nothing has been given to my constituency for sending me to Abuja to give that to Nigeria.
Senator,
you are saying that senators are not adding value?
Can I ask you this?
I am adding value. So everybody has a right to...
The issue of means and ways, some Nigerians are sad about the manner in which the National Assembly just allowed the executive to have his way. Some Nigerians are also sad about the manner in which the CBN policies are being done. There are multiple exchange rates in this country. Working in the Senate, 109 members of yours in the Senate, what are you doing about that issue of insecurity in this country? If all of these issues are burning so much that you people feel as sad as Nigerians are, there should have been solutions, isn't it?
You see, Nigerians, yes, Nigerians are not feeling the pulse of things. They are not feeling happy about what's happening in the whole country. And then everybody is taking his own or her own share of those that are elected, those that are in the executive, even the judiciary. But one thing I want you to know is that you cannot come and condemn the entire National Assembly.
I'm asking you a question.
If you go to my constituency
about you and your colleagues,
if you go to my constituency
the monies we pay you as salaries from the taxpayers' money, if you guys are really doing the job that they voted you to do there. That is the question.
If you go to my constituency today, they will tell you they are proud of what I'm doing. And that is why I have remained with Young Progressive Party. And then I came back with Young Progressive Party. I don't think you will find any Nigerian politician
as an opposition lawmaker
that can take such a risk.
Would you stand up in the 10th National Assembly to fight for the people?
Only elected officer in a political party for 4 years, and I stood with that party. And today, I have 2 House of Reps. We have 2 House of Reps, 1 senator, and about 13 House of Assembly in 4 years. So things are happening. It's about, decision is about style.
We just hope that
people are happy with what I am doing. Yeah. And I can only talk about myself.
I hope Nigerians will be happy with your other colleagues. There are 109 of you. You are just one person. If you are talking about what you have done,
must come and speak
Nigerians
for himself.
who are paying your salaries and your allowances need to get the benefit of what they are paying for.
We are working also on the ways and means, and we shouldn't hang the executive. Nigeria must move. And then the records are there. Right. Nigerians has the right to access the documents and know what it is. But nobody should blame the National Assembly because we didn't allow this country to continue to run on a fire.
We'll hold you guys accountable. That is what Nigerians are expecting. If anybody is sending anybody to school to pay your school fees or paying your salary, your employers need the benefits of what they are paying for. And that's what Nigerians are asking for. And we hope in the 10th National Assembly, you guys will fight for Nigerians and do good by Nigerians.
That's what they let them give Southeast.
We will hold you guys accountable. I promise you.
The Senate President.
Thank you so much. Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, federal lawmaker representing Anambra State, in a precise reasoning in the Senate.
What do you mean by this? No, it's my hometown, but I'm representing Anambra South.
Anambra South, thank you so much for joining us tonight of the YPP.
Thank you.
We take a break, everyone, and when we return, Mr. Femi Falana, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, will be joining me next on the program. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here on the program. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, the governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, were present at the pre-hearing of the presidential election petitions tribunal today in Abuja. And at that hearing, it was established that the Action Alliance withdrawn their petition against the President-elect Bola Tinubu of the APC. And also, it was also gathered that some of the hearings will continue tomorrow. According to the Independent National Electoral Commission, Bola Tinubu of the APC polled 8,794,000 votes to win the election, while Atiku Abubakar of the PDP came second with 6,984 votes, and Peter Obi with 6,101,533 votes. But the election of Bola Tinubu is being challenged by some of those who contested in that election. And the proceedings began, a long-awaited proceeding began today. Of course, Atiku Abubakar and the PDP are requesting that the proceedings should be televised. Tonight, I have joining me live on the program is Mr. Femi Falana, a senior advocate of Nigeria, one whom will be talking about the state of the Nigerian, the state of the nation, especially the manner in which the economy has been dollarized. Is someone who says is unhappy with the way and manner things are, is asking Nigeria to join the BRICS Commission. What does this mean and for our nation? But let me ask the learned Sikh tonight about the beginning of the proceeding, which a lot of Nigerians have been expecting. In fact, there are those who are saying that we should dispense of this matter before the president-elect is sworn in. Learned Sikh, please give us your position on that. Mr. Falana, I don't know if you can hear me. There seems to be some loss in the connection with him. But let me allow you to listen to some of the soundbite that came on the sideline of the Presidential Election Tribunal today. I don't know if Mr. Falana can hear me now. Mr. Falana, are you able to hear me now? Let's go on a short break, everyone. And when we return, apologies for that break in the communication with the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana. And when we're back, hopefully we'll be able to correct the signal loss with him in hearing us clearly. Stay with me, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone. Apologies for that glitch. Mr. Femi Falana is still with me on the program. Thank you so much, Mr. Falana, for staying with us. I was going to ask you, because the Presidential Election Tribunal resumed today. Just before we get into a major conversation, I'd like to know your view, because there are those who are agitating. They went outside of the courtroom today. They were asking that that case should be fully dispensed with before the swearing in of Bola Tinubu. What do you make of that position?
So I think some of our colleagues, with profound respect, are causing confusion. The law is there. Section 285 of the Constitution prescribes 180 days for dealing with election petitions at the Court of Appeal. If there is an appeal, you have additional 60 days. So altogether, you are talking of 8 months. In the case of governors, governorship elections, governorship election petitions, you are talking of 10 months, 180 days in the tribunal, 60 days in the Court of Appeal, and 60 days in the Supreme Court. If people are saying that we should go back to the drawing table, deploy and use technology properly, then we can amend the Constitution to allow election petitions to be disposed of within 2 or 3 weeks. But whereas in this case, the petitioner did not file their petitions until 21 days after the election. So you can't be talking of 7 days or 14 days. But again, as I said, after this exercise, we can go back to the drawing table and amend the Constitution and the Electoral Act to allow for a situation whereby you don't even go to the Court of Appeal. If you are talking of presidential election petitions, as it is the case in Ghana or Kenya, you simply go to the Supreme Court. Up to 2011, governorship election petitions were never handled by the Supreme Court. So I think this experience should really inform some concrete amendment of the Constitution, but that can only be anchored on a proper deployment of technology. And what I mean is that if you have the Beavers machine deployed and you have the Beavers report and results of elections are transmitted to the central server of the INEC. So we should be talking of 2 reports. Those are the reports that should be taken to the tribunal. But in this case, witnesses, the petitioners are calling witnesses. The respondents are calling witnesses, including the electoral body. After which, of course, the witnesses are going to be cross-examined. It is after the hearing of each of the petitions that the parties will be invited to write written submissions, submit them to the courts, and then have a day to adopt them before the judges will retire to consider the addresses and the evidence led in court. Under the current electoral regime, law regime, you cannot abridge the time. In this case, you are talking of about 5 petitions, 5 election petitions. And everybody, every petitioner wants to have a field day in court. So we need to really
Mr. Falana, let me quickly ask you, there was a request by Atiku and the PDP asking the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal to televise the proceedings. The Constitution provides that the proceedings in the court should be a public affair. But, well, what do you make of that kind of request based on the interest of the public and the sensitivity of the matter at hand?
No, Sheung, I had expressed my opinion on this matter a couple of months ago. Now, an application has just been made to the court. I cannot preempt the court. I cannot.
Okay. So,
I cannot.
But Mr. Falana, quickly, because I need to take you quickly on the statement you made today about the BRICS Commission and the dollarization of the Nigerian economy. You have your fear. You think that the IMF and these global institutions are trying to sabotage and have a dominance on our economy. But quickly, based on public interest, what are your expectations of the judiciary in these proceedings that began today?
Now, come again, my expectation of
the judiciary, based on the fact that a lot of Nigerians are looking at the details, perhaps for the first time more critically than we've ever seen, on the proceeding in the Presidential Election Tribunal. What are your expectations? What do you think that the judiciary should be looking into in dispensing justice in this matter?
I think the presiding justice, the Honorable Justice Amani, they made a point today that the court will not give room for undue technicalities or crass legalism. I think that is commendable. I'm very convinced that justice will be done. The parties will have to adduce evidence to support their claims. And once that is done, of course, the respondents will also challenge the evidence of the petitioners. And once that is done, I'm very convinced that justice will be done.
Let me take you to the economy matter, because when I saw that statement, I was worried. You have alleged economic sabotage between the Central Bank of Nigeria and the likes of the IMF. Is this a deliberate economic sabotage of some persons to have a dollar domination on Nigerian economy? And what are the consequences? Is there any major danger to the Nigerian people?
Yeah, Sean, just before I attend to your question, I wish to react to the claim of Senator Ifeanyi that it should be credited, it should be commended for the amendment of Deep Offshore Production Contracts Act with profound respect. I started that campaign in 2015. The records are there. By 2019, I submitted, with the assistance of Dr. Clinton Jaja, I drafted a bill for the amendment of that act. And the bill was adopted by the Senate under the presidency of Dr. Bukola Saraki, but the Senate could not complete the exercise. Hence, the current Senate had to, pick up the battle where it was left. So I drafted the bill. It was the bill that was adjusted by the current Senate. So I don't think it would be fair. I mean, just to put the record straight. Now, coming back to the dollarization of the economy, I have been fighting the current leadership of the central bank for turning the Nigerian economy into a kalo-kalo affair. The central bank is superintended, is supervised by the IMF and World Bank. And their position, the position of the Bretton Woods institutions, is that the Naira is overvalued and that the Naira should be completely destroyed. The central bank supports such neoliberal, very dangerous neoliberal policy. And that is why Section 20 of the Central Bank Act, which provides that the legal tenders in Nigeria shall be currency notes issued by the central bank as well as coins. But today, the dollar is spent in Nigeria. Landlords collect rents in dollars in certain parts of the country. School fees are paid in dollars. And I have fought the central bank. Under what law have you allowed people the economy to be dollarized. And the central bank has pleaded with me, oh, we are going to react to your position very soon. And that's taking some months. Now, what I'm now saying is that the world is moving. Along our campaign, the BRICS, and I'm talking of Brazil, India, South Africa, China, and India, BRICS, that body is now campaigning that it is going to have an international currency to challenge the dollar. About 24 countries have applied to join the body in their next summit that will take place in South Africa. I'm simply asking, what is the position of Nigeria? Have we reduced ourselves to the footnote of history as far as international affairs are concerned? When you look at Section 19E of the Constitution, it provides that it shall be the duty of the government of Nigeria to promote a new international economic order, and that is the one before us, i.e., that we have no business selling our oil and gas and other products in dollars. No business. We are supposed to ask the buyers to pay in naira so that you can show up your currency. And that is what Russia is doing currently. China is doing the same currently. India is doing that. They are trading in rubles and rupees. And why can we not trade in naira?
Mr. Falano.
5 years ago. 5 years ago. Yes, please.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in to say, now, the Dangote refinery, we understand that we officially get off the ground, it will start operations, and President Buhari will probably be on that ground to commission it. That's some good news, especially for the consumption of oil. Now that you've mentioned it, most of the monies that we spent in Nigeria as a government is also on this importation and exportation of crude and bringing it back into the country. Now, what would you be, because Buhari is going out, Tinubu will be coming in, what do you think is most important, especially for the government that is coming in this very matter that is troubling?
You see, before the Buhari regime goes, it is important to let Nigeria know that we have investment in the Dangote refinery. Nigeria invested $2.7 billion in that refinery. In addition, 300,000 barrels of crude oil will be given to the refinery per day. The agreement has not been published, but those are the highlights. Secondly, the Buhari administration very belatedly had earmarked $1.5 billion to fix the Port Harcourt refinery. We understand the refinery will come on stream this year. For Warri and Kaduna refinery, the government has also paid contractors $1.4 billion. Now, when these refineries, are turned around, and then with our investment in the Dangote refinery, I believe that the incoming government will have to set up an inquiry to find out why the government claims to have spent trillions of naira on importation of fuel, and that the bulk of the fuel imported is smuggled out of the country. But the Comptroller General of Customs, Colonel Hamid Ali, has said publicly that it is not possible for the bulk of 68 million liters of petrol to be smuggled out of the country daily. But you will need about 2,000 tankers to do that anyway. So the government will need to investigate the monumental fraud.
All right. Mr. Falano.
That has been our lot.
Yeah. So I'm being told I just have less than 60 seconds to go. But, I mean, you raise a very fundamental issue here, Mr. Falano. Just in about 60 seconds, please. What would be your final thought on this, and perhaps what we urgently need to do?
I'm advising the government of Nigeria as soon as possible to join the BRICS, to apply to join the BRICS. Secondly, we must revive the currency swap between Nigeria and China that allows Nigerian business, men and women, to buy goods in China, in Naira, while Chinese will also buy goods in Nigeria, in yuan. Now, in addition to that, Kenya has just signed an agreement with Aramco in Saudi Arabia to pay shillings for fuel imports. Kenya was spending $500 million per month to buy fuel, petrol, diesel. Now, that country has been allowed now to pay in shillings. We are also saying Nigeria selling oil and gas must now tell the buyers, pay Naira to us and not dollars any longer.
All right. Mr. Falana.
That's our product.
Yeah. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight. And I appreciate your intervention and your advocacy. And I hope somebody is listening. It is going to be in the interest of the Nigerian people. Thank you so much, Leonard Sick, for your time tonight and your industry.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much
Pleasure.
indeed. But our show tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. We keep our eyes on the Presidential Election Tribunal and all of those major stories for you, especially the breaking news we brought to you earlier on. Stand by, everyone. At the top of the hour, Channel's news track will be up. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. I'll see you, God willing, tomorrow.